I thought I was prepared for the storm, but I wasn't. And I'm not just talking about any type of storm where, your lights go off, you need candles, you may need some other things, blankets, but I'm talking about more of an internal storm, an emotional storm. When you get triggered by something and it brings up it could be feelings of rejection, feelings of abandonment, feelings of not feeling worthy. And maybe there's nobody around to help you. Everybody could be around when you're not going through it, but when you really going through it or you really feeling triggered and you don't have that support, it could really be hard to bounce back from that. It could really be hard to pull yourself out of depression or any type of feelings of overwhelm, any type of negative emotions that you may be feeling. So I'm not afraid to admit that I still need healing to do. I still need healing around maybe certain things that I feel that I didn't get while growing up. And a lot of us are walking around here with certain childhood wounds, or a mother wound or a father wound. And maybe we don't even notice that maybe some of our triggers are stemming from those type of wounds. And I didn't think about that. Sometimes I could be getting triggered because, certain wounds are still in need of healing, or maybe I may be going through a healing process. And I was listening to a podcast on YouTube from Jennifer Arnice, where she talks about healing your trauma, especially from your mother wound. And as I listened to her, it made me think about some of the feelings and emotions that come up in me sometimes, like, why do I get triggered when certain events doesn't work out for me, and then certain feelings of rejection or abandonment comes up in me. And usually, like, when I start to feel unregulated, I try to kind of go in my toolbox. What tool do I need to kind of get myself at least to be neutral, to be sane, right? So sometimes I like to meditate, I like to do yoga, I like to do this and that. And all of those things are good and normally work, but sometimes those things, when I'm feeling very triggered, and maybe some other people could relate to this, sometimes those things aren't enough. And you feel like you need something else or you need more. And you might feel like you need support, but like I said, you may not have your coach, you may not have your therapist or whoever is that support person for you. So one of the things that, when I think about the podcast that I listen to, one of her advice to when you start to get triggered or, you're dealing with certain childhood wounds is to not just sit there and not do nothing about it, but she says, work on that, work on your healing. So for example, if you get really triggered when actually, this is a good example. I almost did not do something because I was afraid of being rejected. And I kept going back and forth, like, no. And that, I know that is due to past things that I've been through, you know. And this could also stem from, you know, childhood. Anyways, her advice is to have movement in your life. And I believe her. I believe that would help you to heal some of those things that, or some of those emotions that may be coming up for you. So for example, I was afraid to do something. I went ahead and did it anyway, and I got great feedback from what I did. Because I was scared I was going to get rejected. I didn't know if I was going to do a good job or not. But I put effort into trying, and I received good feedback from that. So basically what she was saying is, if you are dealing with any type of, you know, mother wounds, she talks about mother wounds particularly. Movement can really help you doing something. And not just, I'm not talking about like go and exercise. Exercise is really actually good too. It's a good way to release negative emotions. But she's talking about, if you have certain dreams, taking, or certain goals, focusing on that and taking action towards those goals, doing something uncomfortable, doing something that actually kind of gets you out of your comfort zone, doing something that you are afraid of anyway. So she was talking a lot about that, and I'm like, this is interesting. This is it. Because when I think about it, when you do that stuff and you don't give up, and even if you don't get the outcome that you wanted, at least you tried. And you could give yourself credit for doing that. And that can help build up, you know, probably trust in yourself. Like, okay, maybe I didn't get the outcome I wanted, but guess what? I pushed through, or I was disciplined enough to do something that first I was terrified of doing. And it's crazy because when I think about it, and when I think about certain triggers I have had, I never would have related it to my mother wound. I never would have. And this is the thing. You could have a mother wound or a father wound and still be in contact with your parents, you know. Just because you're around your parents, that doesn't mean everything is lucky go happy. And just because you are separated from your parents, or distance yourself from your parents, or walked away from your parents, it doesn't mean that you are necessarily healing. That one could be a whole nother video. But I'm gonna leave it there with that part. And I just want to say to those who do suffer from depression, feeling really overwhelmed, stress, number one, know that you are not alone with what you are dealing with, especially as a single mom. Number two, nature and getting some movement in can really be your best friend. And number three, if you are really, really struggling, try to find some support, because we're not here to do it alone. And I'm going to leave you guys with that.